again to your favorite program, The Conversation, coming to you from TV 360 here in Lagos, Nigeria. My name is Nelson Ekujumi, and I have here with me in the studio Comrade Razak Kolade Lokoba, popularly called RKO. Comrade Lokoba, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yes, today, like we all know, The Conversation is a topical issue program that looks at current developments within the polity of Nigeria and beyond. And this morning, top of our bill is the local government autonomy that the Supreme Court gave its judgment just last week. That judgment by the Supreme Court has elicited a lot of reactions. While some are applauding it, some are, critiquing it that, it's not the way to go. But if you ask me, as a member of the conversation team here, I will tell you for free that I'm home and dry with that ruling, because I recognize that development takes place majorly at the grassroots. And the local government administration is the closest to the people. And over the years, that tier of government has suffered from bastardization, has suffered from strangulation. And that is why we have a lot of hills bedeviling the country today. So if we give the local government administration the powers as enshrined in the Constitution, I believe strongly that people will start having a feel of what democracy is all about, and it will go a long way in deepening democracy. So for me, the judgment is a victory for democracy, is a victory for Nigerians. But like we always say, democracy is a journey, it is not an end in itself. In this journey, this is one of the benefits we have seen, but there's nothing that is a benefit that cannot become the other way if not properly managed. So the ball is now in the court of we Nigerians to ensure that local government administration live up to the billing by we being the watchdog, whether as civil society actors, whether as the people. So because position of responsibility requires eternal vigilance. The people must at all times hold their leaders accountable. And
I completely agree with all the fears you have raised. You might raise fears at times, and the approach to ensuring that that fear did not cause any damage may differ. Our concern for people who are exhibiting restraint on the autonomy of local government, because autonomy of local government comes in different ways. This model is very strange. There's no this kind of model anywhere in the world. America has over 10,000 local government. Canada have. A local government is a component part of a state.
yes.
That's how it goes.
Yes.
And there's nowhere in Nigerian constitution where local government is called the third tier of government.
Absolutely.
There's no way.
Yes,
so
there's that lacuna.
It's our own creation that they are a third tier of government. Constitution recognizes them. And that's because we establish a sharing formula. It's not a structural thing that there's local and state. It's not defined that they are an entity on their own. It's just how do we share these resources that is with us? Then how do we share the responsibility? So we have gone further by assigning the responsibility of the state to federal government now in the disbursement of funds. And that portends a lot of danger. Now, all the things that governors have used the relationship between local government and the state as an abuse is what we have been able to address. There are other complications. The issue of JAC, joint account, is not because the governors wanted to pilfer the government of local. It was because the state designed that model to compare local government to play their role, areas where they have joint projects. For instance, drainages that cut across a local government, which is a state responsibility.
Yes.
The local government is supposed to complement it by also doing their own. So, but the timetable differs. States will do their own, only for local to do their own 6 months later, when, as a result of that negligence of the local government, it has disrupted the one done by the state. So they said, let's come with a model. Anytime you want to do road, let's put the fund together. Let's do road of state and local simultaneously, so that it will not
a sort of counterpart funding.
Counterpart funding. But the governors abused it. An example of state that you must look at critically is Lagos, that has done it very well, has been able to use that model judiciously. But in other states, they took their money, they won't give them chairman conduct any election, and they will be in control because they appoint caretaker committee. So they determine the kind of fund that will come to them. But because they don't have the mandate of the people, they won't complain.
Yes.
So it's a caretaker committee. So instead of addressing that, what we have been able to do now is to create more crisis for us. And one of the things that we have to quickly look at how we are going to sort it out is a time is going to come when we may not have a Democrat as a president like Tinubu. I know very well that Tinubu will not go.
But you and I know very well that
since 1999, are you saying that you have not had a president in this country?
We've had,
but that has said that this election is going to be do or die of fire. If this had made the model in place that time, imagine what will have happened.
Let
me quickly make this point so that you will be able to understand that I'm being objective, that I'm not just speaking from emotion.
Go ahead.
That's number one thing. And we must not wish it away. That is a danger. A structure that gives people to talk less, and the institution is strong enough that either the people speak or not, this structure will make you work, is what we should look at. But a structure that requires 90% of shouting and 10% of institutional push, we should not put it on board, and which is what you have designed now.
I disagree.
Because we have a state already, a state government already.
Yes.
What has been the push that states who refuse to recognize minimum wage up to today? What has people in that state been able to do about that? So they accuse on local government chairman and that you are going to be able to supervise them. There's no reflection of it in how you have been able to supervise. How far have you been able to supervise the governors to spread the state fund judiciously? You have not been able to do that too. So I'm coming to other issues. That's number one thing that we have to also, because it's our country. Yeah. All this concern, let's address it before it comes. That's why we are raising it.
Yeah.
That's
how to think.
Ancestral issues. There are states who have peculiarity. There are local governments all over the world that the election in that area is conducted by the indigenous people and won by indigenous people. With the model in place now, it makes all those peculiarities very, very porous.
Why?
Such that in such a way
democracy is about numbers.
In such a way that governors and states understand some of those peculiarities far better than, and they create a buffer around it. State government, they will create a buffer around it. And I can give several examples in elections, even in Lagos here, where it is said that there are certain categories of people that you must not put the leadership of local government in their possession. You know what I mean by that?
I understand.
It's predominantly an indigenous thing.
I understand it very well.
So by the time it has to do with the federal government, 774 local government, actually might understand peculiarity in the southwest. But in the east, it's difficult. And state governments will have control. So a central issue is not a border concern to me. 13. It's just control. The reason why everybody is asking for state creation, local government creation, is because the federal government in its dictatorial attitude since 1966 to date that's been the definition of our federal government. Collect all the money made by all the states. Either the state contributes money or not. There's a law that you must divide the money into 36. That's what has been inspiring more creation since it was 12 before.
But you and I know
more local. But by the time we have an arrangement where this universal standard of generating fund from below up is put in place, which is now generating fund from up is what we have now. Generating fund from down up to the state is put in place where people design how they will generate their fund and give. Nobody will talk about local government because it's the governors that will design the local government. We have that example in Lagos, where Lagos government design how he's going to spend, how he's going to live his life. So it's been modeled up now.
No,
because when state resource control come, because without resource control, the financial position of this country will always be in shambles. So until we come, by the time we come to that, how will the federal government cope with 774
I disagree with you on a lot of the submissions you have made.
Okay.
One, this judgment is not about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
No, I've not.
Yes,
I've not even.
yesterday it
said
was
this
President Buhari in office. Today,
and I've not said about it.
yes. Secondly, is that
I only said that he's a Democrat,
just hold
and we are not endangered.
Yeah, no, I don't. You see, I
In the
understand.
Senate, 4 or 8 years, we are not endangered. But we may be endangered when someone else who wanted to.
There are processes. I don't.
Are there no processes?
Wait.
When the Gigi was arrested,
what was the outcome?
And that's how it will always be.
But you and I.
But build a system where it will not be abused.
No, there's no system you put in place that human beings will not make efforts to abuse.
Make the possibility lower.
Yes, that's what we are
saying. The possibility of abuse make it very, very infinitesimal.
I agree absolutely with you.
The system now is very porous.
Well, I don't agree on that. Because why do I say this is that the autonomy, the financial autonomy we are talking about, I agree with you absolutely that, don't also forget that the abrogation of the responsibility of states, of a local government, the muzzling of local government, started under the military rule. You remember in those days where local governments could not pay teachers' salaries, and there was crisis at the local level. So the military government under the states then now appropriated those powers because of the responsibility of that. And what we are
that's the picture I'm trying to bring back.
And what we are saying here is that irresponsibility we have seen being exhibited, that was exhibited at the local government administration level then, is also not the states or the federal government is not immune from such irresponsibility if people are not putting their eyes on the ball. And that is why I'm saying that no two situations are the same. What people did in maybe 2000, the anomaly, the treasonable felony attempt by even President Obasanjo, you recollect in 2007 when he wanted to smuggle in a third term. It was the resistance of the people. So our responsibility here in the media is to awaken the people's consciousness. And in awakening the people's consciousness, we must also make them aware that, look, this is a country governed by laws. People have said, some local government could collect their funds and return, and the governor will say, bring it. I said that is not a problem. They were looking at it from the point of view that it could cause friction between the states and the local. I said, a local government, for me, a local government chairman or a president or a governor swears on oath by himself. You cannot swear on oath for me. So whatever I do for an office that I've sworn on oath to do, I'm responsible for it.
So
if
what
I now abdicate my
what you are saying now that the picture you have painted will stop. It will not stop.
No, I'm not saying this is part of the learning process.
Do you know the concern I have with Nigerian elite?
Yes.
And you included.
I'm not okay.
You're an elite.
Okay, go ahead.
Don't
let us personalize it.
I'm an elite too.
Okay.
So
I'm a middle class.
An elite is not designed by your financial status.
Okay.
What you are doing.
Maybe I need to know the parameters.
What you are doing is one of the features of elite is thinkers for the people.
Yeah.
Go into the depth of what elite is all about.
I agree with you on that.
Design political ideology for the people, design direction for the people, economic direction for the people, who design values, direction for the people. So you are one. And is that encourage everybody to have an opinion on expert matters. The model of how a country is run is designed by who they are. It's not whether, that's not my opinion, I don't agree with you. Because if 2 plus 2 is 4, arithmetically, I'm not talking politically or any other for a formula. The formula is 4.
Yeah.
It's only in Nigeria when 2 plus 2 is determined by the opinion of everybody on the table. That no, my own opinion, that's my opinion. When it comes to structural issues, what determines the kind of structure you run is not the opinion of people, it's who you are and the kind of people you are. As been expressed severally that we don't want our life to be run by proxy.
Yes.
That has been expressed in Britain, who do not practice the kind of system practiced in America.
Yeah.
By India, who also distance themselves from the British style. So in Nigeria too, we have said this severally that not explained by man, but by our attitude, that the decision to determine the direction of our life cannot be in the hand of the president of Nigeria.
Absolutely.
And
That's what we are
must
doing
be,
now.
And there must be a devolution of power.
Yes, that's
So
what is happening now.
What you have done,
Yes.
essentially, is
Yes.
adding to the list of what the federal government will handle.
How?
Because
In what way?
that's what it means.
In what way?
By
Saying that
yes.
by saying that states should hands off the responsibilities and finances of local. That's the evolution of powers.
That is the model that is creating crisis for us from beginning to date.
How?
From 1960 to 1966.
Yes.
That was when we got it right, where each state is run based on what the region wants. Yes, each region. Even if it is state or if it is region, because either it is state or it is region. The problem we have is over concentration of power at the center. Even
Just
if you
like
run state,
just like
if you run region too, because that's the error people are making. If you run regional system too, and you put so much power at the center, it's back to square one.
Of course.
So our focus should be center that is too big. So in this instance also, when there are joint effort, because there's no how federal government will not have joint program when disbursement is taking place. Look at me, oversee it. The federal government will oversee it. They are demanding disbursing the fund. The state
how can you say that the one disbursing? Does the funds belong? The fund belongs to the federal and the states. It does not belong to federal government.
The fund belongs to federal and the
yes.
state. And you created a third leg, which is the local government.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying, that from the beginning of our argument about restructuring,
yes,
we have said that federal government has no business with local government. That each state needs to take care of their own resources.
Absolutely, that's exactly.
And that should be our focus.
That's exactly
and
what's
that is the reason.
now.
The reason why governors have access to their fund. It's not because they are in control of local fund. It's because the free fund is coming from Abuja, and demand for local government, demand for more states is because that money is coming from Abuja. So our own focus should be that it is important for us to reverse the trend. Let's bring resources of each state back to their own state. Let each state take control of their own local government. Let each state determine the pace at which they want to move in terms of development.
Yes.
Raise their own resources and run their own state. What we have brought on board now, remember this day, it is not Ashwaju that did this. So we did it on our own. Yoros did not do it. The unity system of government. And we're all blaming him now. In 5 years, 10 years time, we'll come back to this discussion.
Well, Comrade Razak Olokoba, thank you for your submission. Like you all know, this is a matter that we cannot exhaust the discussion.
That's correct.
The discussion still continues.
It's extensive.
Yes, it's extensive. If we want to continue, we'll spend the whole day.
The whole day.
Yes, but you can be rest assured that this is a topic that will come up with another day, and we'll look at it from another perspective. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we want to call it a wrap on the first stanza of the program. We'll go on a short break. We'll be right back. Please continue to watch the conversation on TV 360, coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.